Hello everybody, it's Lady Kayla here, and I kind of started doing videos like this previously about a year or two ago where I was opening up about my mental health and kind of where I was mentally and what I thought about my own mental health, but that was kind of it was a self-help kind of journey that I was trying to achieve, and I've known that for years now I have needed help, and I thought that maybe I could help myself or stuff like that, because with your mental health it's ups and downs, and sometimes, especially for me, I felt like every time I had an up it kind of discredited all the downs that I had, like maybe you know because I felt so good during an up that my downs weren't actually mental health related, or I forgot about my downs completely because part of my mental health issues is memory loss and incomplete memory. And so for a long time I didn't seek help professionally, and I want to start these vlogs again because I took a huge step forward and I actually made an appointment to get evaluated. I went to that appointment, and now I have appointments to get an actual diagnosis and start getting therapy and possibly medication. And so that's what I want to talk about today, and I want to be more open about it because I feel like these topics are still kind of not really talked about, especially in the kind of communities that I'm in, which is a lot of entertainment communities, the geekdom, cosplay, all that, because it's very highly escapist. People like to just keep it that way, and that's fine for people who just want an escapism without the realities of the day-to-day life. But I have also heard the flip side and have met many people who really appreciated people like Carrie Fisher, who was open about her mental health, and when I was opening up about my mental health, people also really told me how they appreciated it and how they felt like it's something that's not talked about enough. So here I am, and I want to start this journey where I'm going to actually be getting, instead of me trying to tell you guys my symptoms and what I think about them, I'm going to be getting assistance from professionals, and so I'll be able to check back into with you guys about my mental health and also have a kind of professional evaluation backing my own journey. So I have not yet been diagnosed with anything. So far, the appointment was just to come in, tell them how I've been feeling. A therapist wrote down everything that I could remember to tell them, and I told them, I have a lot of memory issues. I have a lot of things that happened that I can't recall, or I can't, have a correlation for. Like, if I was triggered by something, I can't remember what had triggered me or stuff like that. So I told him as much as I could, and he seemed to mostly focus on the fact that I can't really get up and do things on a daily basis. Like, it's really, really hard for me to find the drive to even get up in the morning. So he seemed to focus on that, and what sucked about that personally was that that's the least scary thing I go through when it comes to my mental health. It's probably the most consistent. It's definitely something that happens the most, but there are other things that my brain has done that have actually scared me. So I hope when I actually see the psychiatrist that I'm able to dive into that. And I'm really nervous because I feel like there's a lot to unpack about myself, and I feel like getting one or two evaluations isn't going to be enough, and I don't know how this system works. So we'll see what happens. Sadly, I'm getting help from a very busy clinic, and so setting appointments have been crazy, and I won't get my next appointment until next month, early February. and I'm hoping that I can keep it together. Obviously, I've made it this far, but one of the things that prompted me to actually seek professional help finally, um, battling the depression and all the stuff that keeps me from doing normal adult activities, is that I noticed that I started doing things that were not typical for even me and my own mental health. I tend to follow patterns, and I tend to recognize things about my own mental health that are consistent, and then lately my mental health has taken a extreme turn, and I found myself doing things that I have never done in the history of my mental health. And so that was very concerning for me, and I decided that I should finally get help, especially if it's escalating this bad, and also I'm getting new symptoms of different things that I've never gone through before. So that's where I'm at now. And maybe when I'm more comfortable, I'll talk about what the event that actually prompted me to get help. But right now, I am not comfortable doing so. So I'll talk about when I went in to see the therapist, and that was really nerve-wracking. Pretty much as soon as you started asking me questions, I just started crying, and my brain was already spacey because I was nervous and anxious about it. So it was really hard trying to tell him everything that's ever happened, like symptom-wise. Obviously, it wasn't like an official therapy session where I can tell him, specific events or anything like that. But even trying to tell him all of my symptoms and all the things that my brain has done in the past was hard. It was hard for me to recall. It was hard for me to, do it on the spot, especially. And so I don't know. And I was crying and crying and crying, and it was nice to cry, because my brain has been doing a thing lately where I won't emote right. I won't have something sad will happen and I won't be able to cry, and so it's really refreshing when I can finally release a genuine emotion instead of having an emotional block. So I don't know. As I said before in my videos, my mental health includes things like depression, where I can't get up, I can't do normal things. Something as simple as getting up and working is an actual challenge, and I guess that's a bad example because no one really likes to work, but getting up and just doing laundry, getting up, brushing my hair, things that shouldn't take that much effort take a lot of effort and energy, and sometimes to the point where I end up sleeping all day, just to avoid doing anything. Or when I actually do get up and do something, I will I'll be amongst friends, and I'll be amongst family, and I'll be amongst people who love me, and I'll be wanting to do things like play a game, fun things that aren't tedious or intimidating. And I will feel my body actually get physically tired. I will just start shutting down because I just can't function. And I also get anxiety. So my heart will restrict, constrain, my heart rate will increase, I will get breathing problems, hyperventilation, outbursts of some kind of emotion where I'll start crying. And I noticed that a lot of times there aren't triggers for my anxiety. I will be sitting and I'll be having a good day, and then all of a sudden my heart will start and I will start feeling really uncomfortable and really panicked. And yeah, so I'll get panic attacks or anxiety for no reason. And I won't necessarily recognize that there were any triggers. I will get anxiety from triggers. I haven't really been able to identify those triggers as of yet. And any triggers that I am aware of, I don't want to get into right now. But what else? I mentioned that I have memory loss. I've done a video before where I will have what I call personality shifts, or I called personality shifts in my previous video, where basically in order to protect myself, it seems that different personalities will take over, and I'm still conscious. I'm still aware of my body. I'm still aware of who I am. I don't become another person. I don't become another persona. But another kind of, I guess, aspect of my own self will come through and be more prominent. Like if I feel threatened, I might put on, a very emotionless kind of, or I will become, an emotionless kind of very rational person. Sometimes I will actually do the opposite and I will regress and I'll feel very vulnerable. And, that's obviously not like a protection mechanism, because I feel vulnerable and I feel, innocent and scared. And so, there's these different things that are aspects about myself that take over to like an extreme degree. And I feel like that's not necessarily a normal trait for a mentally healthy human, or I guess it's called neurotypical human. And so that happens. I don't know. There's other things that happen, and I space out. I will check out. I will sometimes check back in and being like absolutely like fearful that I am where I am. And, just there's so many different things, like I said. And so I'm glad that I sought help, because there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot that I don't understand about myself. And I think it's time that I started understanding these things about myself, and being able to control them and get better. And I'm really curious about my own mental health on top of everything. It's not just to get rid of it. I hate it. It's been a part of me for years, if not most of my life. So I don't really hate that I have mental health issues. Sometimes it does really put a hindrance on my existence and makes it really hard for me even to want to live. But it's who I am. So, what am I without my mental health issues? So there's also a curiosity there, and I would like to understand myself more. And it's not really necessarily a hatred for my mental health, but it is an acknowledgement that things can get better for the parts of my mental health that are really hard for me to deal with. And it'll be an opportunity to understand aspects about myself that, I don't hate, but I'm curious about why they're there. So we'll see. I'm excited, and I hope I learn, lots of things. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope to check in with you guys regularly. Sorry I've been inconsistent, and until next time, bye.